We moved there. We moved to Japan in April 2018. About the next month, I was underway on the ship, on an aircraft carrier, the USS Ronald Reagan, which was the forward deployed the aircraft carrier at the time. Forward deployed meaning it's permanently stationed at the time in Japan. So I was on that aircraft carrier. I basically had, I don't know, 80 flight hours in that aircraft training. And then that was like my first time to be a helicopter second pilot or a co-pilot to begin learning the airframe. So from April on, I was basically just starting to learn how to operate the aircraft in general more, doing various grade cards and evaluations on different tactics, and then how to operate it aboard the ship. So the shipboard environment a little bit different than where I had trained before in San Diego. Nice, nice and flat everywhere. In October, so 5-6 months later, actually a few weeks before, I had just met a milestone and become a helicopter second pilot. We call it a H2P or a 2P for a second pilot. And that day, I ended up being, like you mentioned, in a near-death helicopter crash landing where we took off from the aircraft carrier. So we picked up and we actually slid back. We were on the most rear aft spot on the aircraft carrier. We pick up into a hover, do a hover check, start sliding back. As soon as we go from the right above the aircraft carrier to behind where there's basically a very large increase in the distance from our rotor blades to the ground. Therefore, the power requirement of the helicopter goes up. That power requirement usually is answered by more power that you have on the aircraft. So I was actually the non-flying pilot, the flying pilot who was the commanding officer of my squadron. So the most senior pilot pretty much in the squadron of the helicopter squadron. He, subconsciously you just increase collective a little bit when that happens, and as soon as that happened, our rotor slowed down because there was not enough juice or power available. It's akin to like a brick being behind the gas. You need more gas and there's not enough fuel going into the engine.
Right.
It took a while to figure out what exactly happened. And certainly there was lessons to be learned pre-flight, intra-flight for the air crew. But we learned about a mechanical malfunction that happened later. Long story short, we pick up the aircraft and the rotor goes from about 100% rotor speed to 91% rotor speed, which is really not good. So I communicate that to the other pilot. He then puts an input in to fly back to the carrier, which we get 20 feet from, probably 20 to 50 feet. And as we begin descending, the helicopter starts turning because our tail rotor lost authority to provide counter torque. So we're now in a situation where we're behind the ship's running away from us,
and you're spinning,
and we're beginning to spin. And so we land with about 9-degree rotation. We're pointed 9 degrees off axis when we land, and then we land probably with about 30 feet to spare from the aft end, which we call the round down of the aircraft carrier, and then spin, tilt, the rotor blades spray, F-18s and human beings that are there that help us take off. And it was absolutely chaotic. I mean, I have so many memories from all the lay down there. Like, it was very vivid. But in the time, I was just like, what just happened? So the aircraft tilt, slide out of the aircraft at a 45-degree angle. And there's the white foam everywhere. There's kind of like people screaming and hurting. It kind of felt like in a film when there's a traumatic situation and that kind of like grenade goes off and it's real quiet. And it was just very slow motion for the next, really actually going to the aircraft carrier in the next 30 seconds were extremely slow motion.